Admitting now.
Thank you.
This Court of Common Pleas Civil Division is now declared open. The Honorable Ann M. Butchart presiding. This is a public hearing, live streamed via YouTube, and can be accessed on the court's website. Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. We're here in the matter of Philadelphia Community Development Coalition, Inc., petitioner versus the unknown heirs of Thelma Hogan, respondent. Docket 2207-01670, and the property is 1644 Annan Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We were previously in court on September the 2nd, at which point Mr. McElhenney appeared with his client, David Champagne, and provided us with a history of the attempts at service. And subsequently, Mr. McElhenney filed a motion for alternative service, which the court is considering. Mr. McElhenney, can you provide any update since the last court listing?
Yes, Your Honor. As you mentioned, we have since filed a motion for alternative service on the unknown heirs of Thelma Hogan, who is the named respondent in the action, and also on any occupant of the subject property. It was represented to us that Miss Chudney Thompson was residing at the property, and we have been unable to serve her as the alternative service motion. And I referenced before, our process server who posted the property was Ron Felder, who actually used to date Miss Chudney Thompson. So he put us in touch together. We've since been unable to communicate with Miss Thompson. The phone number that she gave us has since been disconnected. I reached back out to Mr. Felder, who put me in touch with Police Lieutenant Jason Somerville, who is the cousin of Miss Chudney Thompson, to see if he could put us in touch with her. Mr. Somerville was contacting me for another estate-related matter for himself, who I've referred him out to another lawyer, and I've since followed up with him via email to see if there's any updates from his cousin, and we've not received any response. I did include in the alternative service motion that Miss Thompson was served in a separate action back on February 25th, 2022 at the subject property. So if she's residing there, she's not an owner, she has no ownership interest, but an occupant would need to be served as part of the case before we would proceed under the rules of procedure. I did do additional, and I should say we attempted service at 1644 Annan. Miss Thompson's relatives, her aunt lives across the street at 1641 Annan. We attempted service there as well, and the process server was told that Miss Chudney Thompson does not reside there. So I tried to do additional digging, and what we were able to discover is Miss Thelma Hogan, the deceased owner, had a guardian appointed for her in 2010. When she was taken out of the house, she was admitted into a care facility, and the informant, I reached out to the guardian that the Orphans Court put in place from the Commonwealth. Her name was Patricia Nemetech, Nemetch, who she's based out of Allentown. She was the court-appointed guardian to handle the affairs of Thelma Hogan once she went into the nursing home. And Miss Hogan resided there for 3 years before passing away in 2013. And it was indicated Miss Nemtek is retiring as of the end of this year. She still has her files and indicated that the informant on the application to admit Thelma Hogan was Lisa Thompson. Lisa Thompson is the owner of 1641 Annan Street, the aunt of Chudney Thompson. So it appears that when the owner passed away, that the neighbors' relatives, Chudney Thompson, might have moved into the property or started using it. I'm not sure if she's actually living there or not at this point, but she's represented that she is occupying it. So we're requesting the court to allow alternative service on her by posting the subject property where she says she lives, which would give her notice. And then alternatively, the unknown heirs of Thelma Hogan As we detailed at the last hearing and in the petition, this was a survivorship deed. The mother and two daughters were on the deed. Julia Hogan was the mother. She passed away first. Title vested in Helen Hogan and Thelma Hogan. Helen then died and it vested in Thelma. Thelma died at 97, never having been married and no children. So we went and looked at the grandparents of Thelma, and they were deceased in, I think it's the 40s and 50s. And then we tried to find aunts and uncles, and we were able to find at least one aunt, but she herself had died many years ago as well at this point. So we're at a point in the family tree that we can't find any known heirs to serve. And under the probate code, the Pennsylvania Fiduciaries Code, the heir of last resort in Pennsylvania is always the Commonwealth. So the Commonwealth has been served in this matter, and there's an affidavit of service on file. But just in case there are other unknown heirs that we can't find, we are requesting alternative service for the unknown heirs through advertising in this case. Advertising in the Legal Intelligencer, and then one additional paper, such as the South Philly Review, considering this property is in South Philly, or the Philadelphia Metro. One day of advertising in the Legal and the South Philly Review, posting the property, and I believe I proposed also mailing a copy to the house.
Right.
And with the advertising, the mailing, and the posting, that should put the world on notice and effectuate service on any unknown heirs and the occupants who may be in the property.
And I note that in your proposed order, when you propose to post a copy of the rule and the petition at 1644 Annan, you also will be including a photo of the property with the posting in your affidavit of service. Correct,
Your Honor. We have a standard practice these days of always having the photographs with the affidavits.
Okay.
And we don't have many cases where we have an occupant in a property. We've only had it once before, I believe, in all these years. In that case, hopefully it doesn't come to that. In that case, Your Honor, we had to have an emergency motion to have the person actually physically removed by the sheriff because the property in that was actually collapsing and they wouldn't leave. So we don't really, I don't think that'll happen here, but I don't know. But getting service would be the first step.
All right. I've reviewed your motion as well as your proposed order, and I'll be signing this today, and it should be docketed shortly. I think before we can go to evidentiary, we need to have one more status hearing. Let's take a look.
Would Your Honor like to schedule the December 27th date that's been open?
Let's see where we are with that.
PCDC, we have a status conference at 11:30 that morning.
Let's take a look. So you do. I know that we have a 9:30 hearing, a status hearing. I think we could do a 10:30. Killian, does that look open to you? 10:30 on December 27th?
Your Honor, on my calendar, we have an initial status at 10:30 on the 27th.
Was not aware of that. Okay. Let's see. What else? Here's what I have. I have the PCDC matter with Salmon's Sen Law at 11:30, and then I have two additional hearings, one at 1:30 and the other at 2:30. Do you have anything else on that day?
Are you asking me, Your Honor?
I am asking you. Yes.
There's nothing
sorry.
else on my calendar.
Okay. Why don't we say 3:30 on Tuesday, December 27th?
That'd be excellent, Your Honor. It should be a very short update. to comply with the court's order at that point, I believe.
All right, let's hope so.
I try to keep them short.
Today has been the day of odd service. It's been a consistent theme. Okay. Is there anything else to come before the court?
Nothing further in this matter, Your Honor.
All right, then we're going to adjourn and we'll return on Tuesday, December 27th at 3:30. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You do the same.